India will identify, track and punish every terrorist जिन्होंने ये हमला किया है। उन आतंकियों को उनकी कल्पना से भी बड़ी सजा मिलेगी। अब आतंकियों की बची खुची जमीन को भी मिट्टी में मिलाने का समय आ गया है।
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you're feeling tonight. Do you still feel angry? Does your blood still boil? Because ensure that you're not the only one. The entire country and the world today wants to know what will India do next. What will Prime Minister Narendra Modi do next? For the very first time today, he's spoken ever since the Pahalgam attack, and look at what he said. Every word of the Prime Minister's address today is a warning to Pakistan. He hasn't mentioned the P word, Pakistan word at all. But look at how Pakistan is responding. He says, mitti mein mila denge. He says, we'll identify, track and punish terrorists. Those are words that he has used. And his body language, stern and firm and resolute. He says, we'll destroy the remaining land that has been used for terror. The attack is not just going to be on terrorists, but even those who are backing them, who are shielding them. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, will pursue them to the ends of the earth. Ends of the earth. I don't recall the last time around you've seen the Prime Minister speaking such a language, such a terse language. He has to be angry, but more than that, we all feel violated tonight. He says we will ensure there is unimaginable punishment for terror that has to come. So the Prime Minister is going to go out for Pakistan. That is absolutely clear. It is not a question of if. It is only a question of when. He says we'll not spare terrorists and their backers. And this is where the rogue state Pakistan, the terrorist Pakistan, the deep state Pakistan, Rawalpindi, their Pak Army chief, everyone will have to respond to what Prime Minister has said, and Pakistan has. But I don't want to talk about Pakistan because that is, completely irrelevant tonight. Pakistan itself is ensured that it has pushed itself into a corner, to the extent that even China today is not backing Pakistan any longer. But look at how the story has moved very, very fast today. How India has drawn that literal red line. It begins with the Prime Minister's very clear vow of retribution. Retribution is on Narendra Modi's agenda. This brings us to our next big strike that you have seen vis-a-vis Pakistan. All Pak visas will expire in the next 72 hours. All Pak nationals need to leave India. They need to leave Bharat. There is absolutely no space for terror rogue elements here. Apart from that, the Jal Shakti Minister earlier has held a meet on the Indus Treaty, and we know that Pakistan is feeling the squeeze. It is feeling the chill right now. This brings us to our next important red line that Pakistan today is worried about. All parties, if Pakistan thought, that they can divide and rule much like they've done in their state, they are in today for a rude shock, because all political parties sat across the table and they have unequivocally condemned what's happened, and they said, we are with the government of the day. Go ahead and take any kind of action that you believe is right against Pakistan. So that has also happened. This brings us to our next important development. All the foreign diplomats, remember, a lot of them right from the UK, the US, Germany and elsewhere, have earlier been taken into confidence. These are images of the South Bloc earlier, where they have actually been shown a dossier against Pakistan, so that Pakistan literally has nowhere to hide. And not to forget, you have had a very, very important meeting, and that is the picture on your screens. Look very closely. The Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who traveled right away to Srinagar, he was in Pahalgam within 16 hours, just 16 hours of the attack. along with the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar earlier, have apprised the Rashtrapati, the President, of what has happened so far and what is it that India could be doing next, because India absolutely is doing something next. It is just a matter of when. I also want you to listen in quickly to what we've heard from the LOP Rahul Gandhi, who was also a part of the all-party meeting. And this is the opposition's voice on what India should be doing next.
यूनिफॉर्मली कंडेम किया है सबने जो हुआ है और पूरी सपोर्ट दिया है ऑपोजिशन ने सरकार को, कोई भी एक्शन नहीं।
तो जो भी एक्शन होगा हम सरकार के साथ है, is what Rahul Gandhi has also unequivocally said. The Prime Minister has made it very, very clear that yes, we are out there to get Pakistan. But what really are India's options, and why is Pakistan feeling the squeeze? To answer those questions and many other straight questions, before I introduce those questions, let's also say good evening to our panel of guests. Joining us, we have the former Foreign Secretary of India, Ambassador Shashank, with us. Also, Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, who's the ex-DG Infantry and the ex-US Eastern Command and 14 Corps, also with us on the show. And Air Vice Marshal Manmohan Bahadur, who's a defense analyst, former additional DG of the Center for Air Power Studies. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. And it's so very important, I think, to hear from all of you on what you've heard through the day from the Prime Minister. But with your permission, I want to quickly fire our straight questions, because these are straight questions that we want to find answers to with your expertise and knowledge. So let's bring up those straight questions. These are important because we are only talking about what next. What could India do next? What really are the options? This brings us to our first straight question that's up on your screens. And that reads, surgical strikes. Are we going to go for another surgical strike to destroy the terror camps in Pakistan? If yes, how many surgical strikes? We still do not know. This brings us to our second straight question that's going to go up on your screens. Do remember, there are not just kinetic, a lot of non-kinetic options also that a lot of people talk about. But what about a hot pursuit? Could we be looking at a hot pursuit of the Pakistani terrorists? Can you rule that out? The third straight question is going to go up on your screens in just a moment, and that reads, are we going to be looking at a 9/11 style global coalition to target the terror hubs? Remember 9/11? How you had seen a huge global coalition to wipe out terror? India also needs something like that, and is that already in the works? Remember, the envoys earlier have been briefed. The Prime Minister today spoke in both Hindi and English, and when he spoke in English, he was addressing the world. So what really is happening as far as that bit is concerned, we'll discuss with our panel of guests. This brings us to our fourth straight question on the news night tonight, and that is whether we could be looking at militarily encircling Pakistan to curb terror. Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, is isolated like never before. And this brings us to our final straight question, something that a lot of you have been asking us again and again and again. What about people like Hafiz Saeed? What about people like Dawood Ibrahim? What about the many other wanted elements in Pakistan that India wants? Tahavvur Rana is in India now. Is it time we also go out for people like Hafiz Saeed and a lot more? Let's begin by taking the first question with Ambassador Shashank. Ambassador Shashank, the first obvious question I want to ask you, what are your big takeaways from what you've heard from the Prime Minister? When the Prime Minister says, mitti mein mila denge, what are the options we could be looking at?
Shows the strong resolve of the government, reflecting the resolve of the Indian people, that for a very long time, we have given a long rope to Pakistan. We have been trying to befriend the Pakistani people and trying to distinguish between the people, the army, and the political leadership, hoping that some of them would be willing to join hands with India to curb terrorism. But we find that repeatedly, action is being taken against the ordinary people of India on the basis of whether they are Indians, whether they are going into Kashmir, improving the economy of Kashmir. So therefore, now we are finding that Pakistan has reached a level where domestically it is having a lot of political problems. So that is why Prime Minister has now decided that it is really an attack on the Indian state, on the ordinary Indian people. And the closest example we can find is the 7th October 2023 attack on the ordinary Israeli people when they were enjoying their holiday and fully unaware that this kind of attack will take place. Now, do we follow the Israeli thing? We want to achieve the same objectives, but with a our own approach, an Indian approach, but not the approach of not doing anything.
Okay, I think that's a good point that Ambassador Shashank is making. Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni ji, do you want to take that point a little further? When you hear the Prime Minister today and you see how Pakistan literally has been spooked and, wanting to tell us we will call off the Simla agreement, we will do this, we will do that. I mean, what is Pakistan's larger motive here and what should India be doing next?
See, it's a very important question because it's time, because water's flowed over our head. We have to take action. Now there's just no way out. Enough is enough. By a simple reason, because Pakistan's been doing exactly the same since 1947 and it continues to. Despite all the sanctions, despite all the ways what we've done earlier, we've hit them, Balakot strike, we've done surgical strikes, we've been warning them, we've been imposed all kinds of sanctions on them. Nothing seemed to be bothering Pakistan. And Pakistan continues to use terrorism as an instrument of state policy. Now, having said that, we have an option, and those options are all in the cards. It's nothing that it can't be done. But the aim of all the options now would be to ensure the elimination of terror. If any option that we use, if it eliminates terror, then that's an option that we have to go in for. Not postpone it for a few days, months, years. No, that's not an option. Because Pakistan, we've had enough is enough. Now, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without a fight. So we have a lot of non-kinetic options. We will have like the IWT. IWT, Indus Water Treaty, is an excellent option. Firstly, for a simple reason, you can turn Pakistan into a desert. Not immediately, but subsequently, and then effect will be seen within the next 6 months how Pakistan starts suffering, because primarily 24% of the GDP of Pakistan, almost 78% of their people are working there, the agriculture produced from there. So that's there. Now, the only way out of ensuring or teaching Pakistan a lesson is to be able to hit at the source of terror, eradicate it totally and completely, and so that not just Pakistan, but even the subsequent supporters of the terror, be it in India or anywhere else, automatically get eliminated. Now, that's the option that is to be used so that Pakistan is taught a lesson, and at the same time, we are free of terror, because we've had enough of it, and slowly and steadily, maybe at the behest of yet another neighbor of ours, even empowering another neighbor of ours, Pakistan is capable of continuing with this nuisance. The only way is to eliminate this source of terror, and that is to attack Pakistan from all kinds, means militarily, economically, politically, diplomatically, isolate and ensure Pakistan does not stand a chance of sort of spreading terror, because Pakistan is the hub of terrorism.
Yes, and I second that anger, that anguish, Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni ji, and that's exactly what I'm, also reading in from a lot of people, a lot of viewers' feedback. They say, how much is enough for Pakistan? What are these red lines that we keep defining for ourselves, and where is that, India's moment? When will that arrive? Because we've seen that happening post-Uri, we've seen that happening post-Pulwama, but still, no lesson is a good lesson for Pakistan. Now, on our screens, also Air Vice Marshal Manmohan Bahadur is, more graphic detail to help our viewers understand that when Pak is isolated on all fronts, whether it is internally, in their own backyard on the Baloch issue, the POK issue, Pak this time enjoys no leverage with the US. Taliban, a monster it created, is back to bite Pakistan itself. I mean, how on earth can a rogue state called Pakistan even then exist? I mean, is it time for us to call Pakistan and declare it a terrorist state?
I think to answer that question, we need to go one step back and let's not fall into the trap that possibly the backers are planning for us. Remember, this is slightly different from 26/11, the Mumbai attack, where we lost 165 Indians, but there was no discrimination on terms of religion. Here, it's a very calculated attack on males of a particular religion. So what was the aim? What was the message they are trying to send? That they're trying to get a schism going, a crack going in our society, in our social cohesion. That is the major aim of what happened in Pulwama. So the government has taken the right step, first, which is diplomatic, because you don't go to war immediately. No country can just say, okay, let's go to war tomorrow. It's not militarily possible. But the government has taken the right step of going about it the diplomatic way, while preparations would be on in the background. So we need to be careful as ordinary citizens that we do not let a divide come in our society. That is their aim. Okay? So when we hear news of Kashmiri students outside being sort of troubled, that's not good news. Let's keep our society together so that the government's hands are strong in whatever action it takes. Now let's come to what actions can the government take. Diplomatically, they have already taken. That is the Indus Water Treaty, which I think is a very, very major step that the government has taken of keeping it in abeyance, keeping that window open that, listen, we have not abrogated it. It's in abeyance so that we can still take certain actions without becoming a pariah in the international community because the IWT is an international agreement. So we have not abrogated that. That's good. Second is the fact that we have diplomatically reduced our staff, cut out the military elements in the high commissions in both the countries, sending out a message, a clear message that we mean business. At the background, let me assure that the military, the Army, Navy, the Air Force would be acting as per the political direction given by the government. Those plans would be on right now. What they are, we obviously don't know, and we need not know at this point of time. But let's strengthen the hands of the government by having a very strong base, a strong societal base.
Okay. I think these are fair points. And I want to also prod Ambassador Shashank on the issue of, POK and Balochistan. If we can also get him on our screens. Ambassador Shashank, when you think of POK, when you think of Balochistan, these are also a lot of those contentious issues. POK is ours. That is our government stated position. Do you sense some bit of action on, those fronts?
Well, Balochistan, I think that is a matter for them to take care vis-a-vis Iran and Afghanistan. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa against with Afghanistan. POK, our foreign minister said repeatedly that we had gone in complaint to the United Nations saying that Pakistan had attacked us. Big people sitting in the UN Security Council, they changed the whole meaning and they said, oh, there is a conflict between the two neighboring states, very poor states, and we should help them. And we also accepted that idea. And that is why we accepted this Indus Water Treaty in 1960, so that we could live peacefully in prosperity as two close neighbors with families sharing bonds across the border. But it has not happened. Everything has been belied. And therefore, now time has come for us to say very clearly that POK people are our people. And if they want independence on the military boots of the Pakistanis or the avarice and the acquisitive habits of the political leadership in Pakistan, then we want them to be out of that. But Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, they can look after themselves. And I'm quite sure that they have enough capability to take care of that.
Okay, I just have the last couple of minutes and I want to squeeze in comments from both our guests, Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni and Air Vice Marshal Manmohan Bahaduria. So gentlemen, about 40 seconds to both of you. Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni ji, do you believe that there could be a change as far as the LOC is concerned, the status quo could change? Are you looking at India really going in, perhaps for that big game here, that big ask and that big assertion that POK is ours? Because why should we care about the world at a point where we are here fighting our own battles?
See, POK in any case is ours because after the signing of the Instrument of Accession on the 26th of October 1947 by the Maharaja, the whole of Jammu and Kashmir is ours.
Yes.
And that POK, the word POK means the Pak-occupied Kashmir after the Instrument of Accession had got signed by the Maharaja with the Union of India. If that be so, definitely that is ours. Now the question is, the part of Simla Agreement. The Simla Agreement brought in what is called the LOC and the Karachi Agreement had what we call the ceasefire land. Now, since the LOC, which was brought in by the similar agreement of 1972, what do we know? What do we see? Pakistan has never ever, if 93,000 plus PWs had to be returned with a hope that the situation would be settled bilaterally. Pakistan has never ever adhered to similar agreement, and they've gone time and again internationally and definitely in the UN every now and then wanting to say that Kashmir belongs to us. And you heard the Chief of Army Staff of Pakistan say Kashmir remains a regular vein. Now, if that be so, and if that is what is the attitude of Pakistan, which it will never change until unless you take back a POK, and POK in all circumstances have to be taken and put this matter to an end. And it must be totally rest because POK is ours. There is no doubt about that. Forget about that. 1963, what does Pakistan do? Give Shakscam Valley to China, which is just adjoining the Siachen Glacier, which Air Marshal Manmohan Bahadur knows where it is.
Yes.
So you realize it, that until and unless we take back our POK, there is no way out, because this kind of a thing will continue to happen. And China will continue to use that as part of its CPEC, what earlier was the Karakoram highway, which came from Kashgar, will carry on. So you find that this particular thing, China there, Pakistan there, doing nothing, the whole lot of people over there wanting, fed up of the administration of Pakistan, wanting to join India, looking at India, which way could they help, because when they see the progress in Kashmir, because they see the progress in Jammu and Kashmir, they feel like they have been totally neglected, exploited, and Pakistan government has done nothing for them. So this is the right time. I think it's right, and POK can join India with the least amount of effort because people there themselves are keen to join India. Yeah.
Okay, so Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni saying this is the right time. Yahi sahi samay hai. Air Vice Marshal Manmohan Bahadur ji, your last final thoughts about what could happen between now to perhaps the next few days. I mean, I'm sure that there is a plan already on place. Something possibly is already happening.
Yeah, in the next few days, you'll find routine activities happening because, as I said, war doesn't happen next 1 day or 2 days. So the plans would be on. The services always have contingency plans ready. To put them requires a little time, okay, depending on what's the depth of those plans. We expect, or rather, I think there'll be more activity on the diplomatic front, getting international opinion turned towards us, helping us in our stand, because international opinion matters. We are living in a globalized world. We have taken the first steps. The Foreign Ministry has briefed all the diplomats, I think today morning or was it yesterday evening? So that's the first step that's been taken. I'm sure hotlines are buzzing between the capitals. And economic activity will cease now. We will increase our interaction with Gulf countries, countries in West Asia, because those are the countries that Pakistan always thought are with them.
Oh, yes.
Not necessarily now, because they know who's the master of the area. It's certainly not Pakistan, it's India. So while they hedge their bets, we will move towards those aspects. There may be some military movements, but I'm quite sure they would be well camouflaged. Aim would be to send a message that we are serious. You better act, because that's what deterrence is all about. That's what the Army, Navy, Air Force are all about. To avoid a war by the deterrent posture that we can give, and by the aims that we express across. If not, we'll go ahead. That's plain and simple.
All right. So you never know what possibly could happen or what possibly is already happening. But gentlemen, as always, thank you for your time, your understanding and perspective. And we look forward to talking to you again, considering that this is just a developing story now. So what released Newsnight's parting shot? What are the takeaways? Here they are. What is clear is that Pakistan is on the mat. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, has made it absolutely clear that yes, he is coming for Pakistan. Without mentioning the word Pakistan, but speaking in Hindi, then later in English, he's made it very, very clear that he is coming for Pakistan. And the question we asked, will the status quo of the LOC change? Could that happen? What could that entail? And do remember, the Pahalgam attack has actually blown the Pakistani cover. Whether it is a Pak army chief, their defense minister, no amount of denials, ladies and gentlemen, right now can put a wool over people's eyes. And there is political consensus in the country today. Everyone is standing with the government of the day because the message has to be loud and clear. And the only question that matters tonight, the only question that is on top of your mind, the only question that the world is watching to have an answer for, what will Narendra Modi do next? NDTV continues to keep you on top of that story. Thank you for watching. Good night.